Okay. So, uh, in this season of Life Stories, I mentioned it off YouTube, but this season is more themed towards holding L's, essentially. So these aren't stories where I'm the good guy, I'm the bad guy, or I'm necessarily the victim all the time, but they lean towards this was a fuck up on my point, or this is a situation where I got fucked up, despite me trying to, be the opposite of whatever counts as fucked up.
Gotcha.
So I won't spoil the ending, but this is me reuniting with some old friends, and we somehow ended up doing some Harold and Kumar crazy shit because we got lost in the suburbs. Or rather, we got
Oh
lost in
shit.
Peoria. Because let me tell you something. It's not fun being lost in Peoria when you're not white. Put it to you that way. Now, just so we're clear, I'm not
Yeah.
saying the entire people and area and regions of Peoria are filled to the brim with cracky cream, Krispy Kreme motherfuckers, or they are filled with, sheet heads,
Yeah.
of the pointy variety. What I am telling you is that whatever section of Peoria I walked into with my homies and went through was not fun. I honestly thought even if I didn't die, even when the sun came up, I was going to be lost for like legitimately almost a day and a half. Because, well, for one thing, phone had no battery. And this is back when phones, for the most part, still had minutes. If you remember that, like I still have to convince teenagers this was a thing.
Ugh.
Bro, I still have to convince teenagers this shit was real. So salty about that. And this is when Nokia and BlackBerry were the only people throwing their hats in the ring. That tells you how long ago this was. So I won't give you a specific year because it's not a secret. I just don't fucking remember it. The names are changed not to protect people, but because I don't remember everyone's name, so I just put in a placeholder. We all know how this works, but I want to get that out the way for the people who were there that I'm going to give this video to.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So, I'm a teenager when this story happens, and like with my last story about, teenagers going to parties that they probably shouldn't be at, or young people having parties with no parental supervision even though they're adults, is kind of, just, it's not wrong, but if it's a good party, it usually means shit's going down. So, all right, so here's how shit went. I am in the same two rich idiots friends, or no, they're not idiots, rich cool people that I used to hang out with. But this is before they got the money. For those who remember my New Year's special story where I got lost in Indiana and ended up, basically living out a day in streets of rage. These are the same two. Yeah, these are the same two kids, but they're not rich yet. And this is one of our like biggest bonding, or only our real like biggest bonding moments. This is essentially how I met them, and I had to go and talk to, because I was able to find one of them. The other one, well, apparently some shit's happened in the family, and a lot of people don't talk to him in his own family. I want to talk to him. Maybe I can fix some things, but I'm not assuming that I can fix it necessarily. We're gonna call the oldest one Michael, and we're gonna call his brother Phil. What else? Their name is Mark and Phil. Mark's the oldest, Phil's the younger one. All right. So, as with any good friend group, the guy who turns 21st first is the person who gets everybody to booze. Now, just so we're clear, because this has happened before, I am in no way, shape, or form condoning the consumption of alcohol unlawfully. However, I want to state in every episode that I've spoken of where I was a teenage drinker, number one, it was less than 1 or 2 times a year. And in every occasion, I was already 18. I was not a minor, I was an adult. So the level of trouble I would get into is not, to my knowledge, all that high. Also, depending on where you go, as a lot of people don't know, teenage adults can actually drink if they are indoors or under parental supervision. Ohio being one of the first places to do it. So, there's my little disclaimer out of the way. Damn, Tums should not taste this good. All right, so. Yeah, no, strange. Because it used to be shitty when we was little. All right, so.
Can't stop you complain.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I did go to parties because, I wasn't a fucking stick in the mud as a teenager. I had a friend group, and some of us, it's their first official social outing that isn't conducted by a school. So people are going just to meet new people. People are going, maybe they'll find a girlfriend, or they'll learn to talk to a boy or learn to talk to a girl. But of course, like any good party where young people are, half the motherfuckers there are shy and they want someone else to do the work for them. So
yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I had a bad time. It's just I don't like the idea. This is not a date in any way, shape, or form, but I'm one of those people. I hate when every single important, funny, or interesting thing that gets said on a date comes out of my mouth. I'm not egotistical like that, but you gotta understand, I'm trying to learn about you. I don't need to own your soul. I'm not trying to own your soul. I'm trying to figure out what makes you you. What do you like? What do we have in common? What don't we have in common? What can you teach me, or what can you learn from me, or what can we just like reach some common respectable ground on and shit, right?
Yep. Social interaction is a two-way street.
Yeah. And unfortunately, and I'm not saying all women are like this, but let's make it blatantly clear. A lot of the onus in society, at least up until maybe 2008, maybe 10, and I don't even know why I'm throwing out that number, but that's when I started seeing it show up a lot in my social feeds. It was always expected that the man is supposed to engage at every cost, unless you were extremely buff or extremely rich or extremely pretty or some combination of the three, right? That's
thereabout.
Yeah, on some level, a lot of women still, follow that shit. So that means I like having Honeybee around. She might show up. Let me see. Feel free to join if you can. I know you're busy. So, I went there and I was like, man, I'm gonna not learn how to talk to women. I'm an adult at this point. I know how to do that, but I'm gonna see if I can bag a tall chick. I know it sounds kind of, well, it's not bad, but I know it sounds kind of, self-serving now as an older adult. But it wasn't like I just wanted to pump and dump a tall chick. It's just everyone I knew was intimidated and terrified of the idea of dating a tall chick. I don't know why I wasn't, but people don't.
So maybe you viewed it as like a challenge or something?
Yeah, again, new adult brain. I'm thinking, they would say, well, why don't you talk to him since you so bad? I was like, first off, when do we even see a tall chick? Right? Oh, fair warning, there will be 90s language used, despite it being like not the 90s. I'm not making an excuse for it. Like many things people learn when they're young versus older. You don't know that they're offensive or not, or they weren't offensive at the time, but we didn't have full context and are offensive now. That being said, that does not mean I'm going to blatantly use them in their rawest form ever. Because, well, then there's no way in hell this video will get monetized. Again, I've never been a type to really care about that, but, we're a team now, so, I don't want to be the guy who fucks over the team for no reason. Other than my own self-indulgence. There will be swearing, obviously. But, the second F word will not truly be uttered in its original context, or as well as the full word will not be uttered. There will be some other things, but that's just the one I want to point out the most, because that's the one I'm the most aware of the history of it. It was always offensive, but America just learned it late. So I would say, well, when you gonna find me one? When you gonna find me one? And eventually, no bullshit, Phil's going to the party, and he finds out who's going to the party because there was a giant like text group, back when shit like that could be easily hidden from parents. And turns out it wasn't a mansion, but I guess it was like a ranch. There was some 17-year-old who was turning 18 before his parents got back from their honeymoon, or not their honeymoon, their They renewed vows and then they went on a vacation trip. I don't know if that counts as a honeymoon because they are already married close to like 16
So,
years.
similar concept of a honeymoon, just something done after an anniversary.
Yeah, I don't know what you call it.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I guess anniversary vacation or anniversary trip. So he had like 4 days to himself. And it was a 4-day holiday weekend. I don't remember which holiday, but it's around spring break time. So we'll just say spring break for the purposes of the story. So then they found us in Peoria.
Shit.
And I was like, what's a Peoria? It was like, they look at each other like, that's right. That's a good question. I know you've been out of the state a bunch, but have you ever like been to different cities really in Illinois? It's like, actually, I don't think I have. So, and this is right when this phrase was getting popular. Philip turns and looks at Mark, and he looks at me and goes, "You gonna learn today?" And then Mark goes, "It's next week." And he just goes, "You know what I meant." And I just started laughing because, you know, again, this is like, we've only known each other barely a month at this point in time. I met them at a legendary place where many a teenager and many a relationship was started or ended or blossomed. I met him in an area called Ford City. For those who don't
Fuck.
for those who don't live in Chicago, Ford City has been one of the most popular mall regions in the entire state, including even after Amazon killed everything in their mama. Ford City don't die.
I thought it was the pandemic that did that.
Fuck no. Ford City don't die. It multiplies. They started renting out more space in their parking lot. They sold off like millions of dollars, or they rented out and are renovating millions of dollars in like stores that can be anyone can easily use or go into. And Ford City is always known, at least back then, this is one of the places where people can go to meet teenagers or new adults, because it's also in the back end of Daly College. It's like a short, maybe 15-minute walk behind Daly College, or 3-minute car drive behind
Like
Daly College.
10-minute walk, maybe.
No, if I'll say 15, because the area is just like really not kept up. But going from, you know, the outskirts of the parking lot to the actual mall is about 15 minutes. And it's a place where there's basically from 15-year-olds their first time being allowed to go outside to, you know, early 20s people from Ford City. It's a giant mixing block, right? And obviously rampant consumerism, but duh, it's a mall. So,
Yep.
yeah. So, eventually, Phil starts trying to show me these 3 girls he knows going to be there. One's supposed to be 6 foot. I don't even think I'm 6 foot yet in this story. One is supposed to be 6'2.5", and the other one is like in between them, so she's probably 6'1". But as we know, these are girls, so that means that they're going to be in something that boosts up their height. Doesn't matter if it's heels, platforms, or all those other shoe names that none of us fucking know, but we know that they exist. And they was like, "Yeah, if you so bad, why don't you try? Why don't you try?" I was like, I mean, I don't mind going to a party, bro, but how am I going to get there? It was like, "Oh yeah, Mark's got his car, and I can get booze." I was the first on the guest list. It was like, "Mark, how the fuck do you even know this 17-year-old dude? What's his name? Kelly." It's a guy. I actually did want to get Kelly into this story, but scheduling couldn't line up.
Well.
Yeah, so I get Kelly, and turns out, fucking Kelly is in a text group and saw these girls. But Kelly, because he just wants to be funny, again, I've never met this guy at this point, he wants to go and talk to all these tall girls and say, hey, there's a guy that's going to chat you up when the party starts. Now, them being them, and I don't mean women being women, I mean people who are new to interacting with the opposite sex, independently of their parents. They do the worst thing possible, which I've even seen with people I know in real life. Instead of asking a question about something, they immediately spiral and start thinking the worst possible thing imaginable, and you're the last person to find out about this shit. Ain't that some shit? So
yeah,
it was like a Larry Curly Moe situation when I got there. They all assumed I was doing something different. One of them assumed I just wanted to pump and dump. So it took almost a full fucking 40 minutes 40 minutes to get her to understand that I wasn't. And also, it's in her head. No one said I was trying to do that. Don't get me wrong. I have pump and dump people before, but not like in a negative sense. It was a agreed upon decision beforehand. And it wasn't because, ooh, I want your body, you want my body. It was, we have no way to actually attain a relationship, but, can we each get a consolation prize?
Yep.
Yeah. So that was the situation. And, again, like I said, it was mutually agreed upon. We'll call her Jennifer. I fucking hate her, but I had to play nice. Because I shit you not, man, those girls would not separate from each other. They didn't even know each other personally, but I swear it was like some Siamese triplet shit going on. If one of them went somewhere, the two of them went somewhere, and they said, come on, walk and talk. I fucking hated that shit. So eventually I get done with Jennifer, and there's barbecues being cooked in the back, right? So neighbors start wandering through, or just people walking by started wandering through from the front and the back of the house. Now, even though this is a ranch or some type of just house with a lot of land, because there wasn't like farm animals around, so that's why I say I can't really call it a farm. It was a house with a lot of land. Their fences was low as fuck. Those fences weren't even there to keep people off. They were there just to know this is the property line, right? So there'd be like maybe 4 or 5 people stick their head out of various ages and sexes, and then they leave, and then 10-20 minutes later they come back. There'd be 6-7 more people. They still not crossing that line, but they just looking, right? So I just immediately into talking to the second one, Michaela. Yes, not Michelle, not Michella, not Michaela. I don't know how that happened. I'm assuming she's like first generation, because that name is like some foreign deviation of Michael. And she just goes, hey, do y'all know them? Just asked her. I was like, nah, but Phil's like, hey, yeah, I saw them too. There was only like 2 or 3 of them, but when he came back, there was like 7 people. So Kelly's just in the area getting ready to, lay some sauce on some ribs. Like, hey, look, they crossed that line, bitch is gonna get shot. I was like, well, wouldn't they have to hit somebody first? I mean, you just gonna assume that they're gonna murder somebody? He's like, no, the property line. If they cross the property line. This is back when, it became a recent development that, people are gonna be allowed nationwide, not just in certain states, to essentially shoot a trespasser.
Castle Doctrine.
Yeah, something like that. Like I said, this is like right when that shit is in talks, right? But also, this is Peoria. Real talk, if they don't die, they'll probably get away with shooting somebody. I mean, I wouldn't shoot a party crasher unless they like dealing drugs and shit. Because let me make it clear, there are no drugs at this party that we're aware of outside of weed. So eventually, some girl catches Mark's side because he's in the area, because they were still texting, "Aw, you struck out with Jennifer. Well, what's gonna happen next?" Yeah, good. Mark's saying like uplifting, positive things, and fucking Philip is being a complete and total asshat. Like, he's living up to the annoying little brother stereotype. I was like, oh man, I thought you was gonna trip and fall into some pussy. Looks like the only thing you tripping and falling into is some blue balls. And I'm just like, and I look at him while I'm talking to Michael, and I was like, and he's giggling. I was like, you lucky I can't smack the fuck out of you right now. And then Michael says, oh, is that your boyfriend? And everyone starts laughing.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, congratulations. You finally submitted something to this conversation instead of standing there and looking boring. And then the whole girl goes, damn! Like some Friday shit. And I was like, and she just goes, oh, you trying to heat now? I was like, no. Then why'd you say that? Because it's true. Listen, I am trying to get to know you, as has been confirmed with your friend. I'm not trying to pump and dump, okay? Because first off, I don't even know where you live. I came with 2 other people, and they don't know where you live. So even if we got you back home the next day, or if we snuck and did something, behind our parents and shit, what are they supposed to do? Come back in the morning? Or how do I get back from Peoria back to there? Or you can go to the train station. And how far is that away? I don't know. I was like, oh, you're from the city? I was like, and then I shit you not, I don't know Kelly. Remember, we don't have a personal relationship. He peeks from the barbecue and he says, I mean, it was kind of obvious. I'm basically the only dark-skinned person at this whole party. Well, I'm the only person that got past tan. Let me say that. Also, black, anyone with dark skin or who's easily mistaken for black living in Peoria is basically like finding a unicorn. So, me and her get to talking, right? And it's going pretty well. But for some reason, the third girl, the last girl, Sarah or Sasha, I don't remember, so I'm gonna just say Sasha. I'll text Kelly, maybe he remembers. Sasha is getting progressively angry. And she's white, so you can see the anger on her face. Cause like her whole face is turning red. And I'm talking to Michaela and I was like, hey, is she okay? And I just hear, you can't ask me, bitch. And I'm just like, first off, it's not that you called me a bitch. It's that you're angry, you're fucking yelling when you're literally less than 3 feet away from me and you gonna step to me like a grown ass man would, and you 6'1", so you looking down on me and called me a bitch to my face. I'm just like, yo, if you was a dude, mind you, I'm thinking this, but anybody who was there basically said the same thing. And I got 2 text messages saying something similar. And they was just like, yo, do she have a problem with you? Bro, like, if she was a guy, y'all would be boxing right now. I was like, yeah. I was like, why you keep checking your phone?
Yep.
And I was like, well, look, I'm making sure I get signal out here, okay? That's what I'm doing. That's my cover, right? Because remember, there's 2 different group chats. There's everyone at the party who's supposed to know each other. And then there's me, Mark, Philip, and Kelly. And I'm just like, hey, just out of curiosity, how much booze have you had today? I only had like 1 cup. Shit you not. I was like, okay, well, I'm not sure what your issue is, but you should not be coming up to a stranger and yelling at them and calling them a bitch. And then she just goes, I'm sorry. And I'm like, that was a weird tonal shift. Now I go back talking to Michaela. Wait for it. I know what you're thinking, but wait for it. Now I go back talking to Michaela and my phone goes off because Michaela's actually getting interesting now, right? She was into video games. She's the first person in her family, but she had a unique experience. Her family will stop what they're doing to watch her play video games. And this is like early 2000s.
Lucky.
Yeah. Like they're full on cheerleaders. Like she's going to the like she's at the Olympics. Because for her family, I forget what she said she was from, but they didn't grow up with the concept of TVs even being attainable. Right?
Oh.
Like her dad's first TV, he got at 28. And his mom saw TV when she was like 7. And then immediately didn't get to a TV again until she was almost 30. Right?
Damn.
Yeah. So we actually got into her family background. Like, man, it was some Keanu Reeves shit. It really was. So eventually, I was like, oh, wow, that's actually pretty interesting. You come from an interesting line of people, and I'd like to, even if you don't want me to meet them yet, I'd like to be able to continue this conversation when not at a party, but it's up to you. I don't know what you're feeling like. And then she goes and fucks everything up that we built up. Oof. She just goes, how do you think I feel? Shit you not. Mind you, it's been 2-3 minutes since, Sasha basically went crazy as fuck on me. I got 15 text messages in under 30 seconds, right? And I was like, hold on a second. And now we're not standing around at a pit no more. We're sitting down. I got a little bit of macaroni and cheese, coleslaw, which I hate when they get mixed together on a plate. Ugh, that taste combination just irks me. So I try to keep them. Yeah, I try to keep them segregated. And the lawn furniture had a cup holder. So I was like, excuse me a second. And she's like, why did you just get a text message? It's like, because someone texted me? What the fuck does that mean? So she got it in her head. She said something stupid or is getting insecure because she thinks everyone in the party magically just texted me. Like they could do it that fast back when some cell phones didn't have touch screens still and were in circulation.
Yeah, it would take quite a lot of effort to get something like super
that
fast.
Like not 10 seconds after she made that statement. So what it was everyone else was like, hey, listen, some of the girls who go to high school with Sasha are here. They just texted me and I'm telling you, and a lot of people going to get ready to tell you, yo, Sasha's fucking crazy. She's actually one of those new bipolars. Now, just so we're clear, there is no new bipolar. But the concept of bipolar, essentially, or the collective consciousness of the term and what it meant, was new for us. And me in particular. The fuck is bipolar? And they were like, you know the disorder? Now, again, I've leaned backwards. I'm texting. I was like, hold on a second. This is kind of important. Right? She starts crying. Not Sasha. Michaela. She's like slightly whimpering. So then I get a text message that says, look up. And I see Michaela. And she's crying a little bit. And I see Sasha snuck her ass over to my side and is reading my text messages, or trying to. So I put my phone back in my chest pocket and say, hey, Sasha, listen to me. Stay away from me for the rest of the night, okay? I'm not about to have a debate, fight, argument with you, nothing. I am one of those people. I don't like having a discussion at a party unless it's gonna end in something violent. I love having debates with people in person, or trying to figure out something about a series or show, or any form of literature that we like, or just how we feel about some philosophical bullshit. Okay? And this is like an 18, 19-year-old me saying this. I'm still like that, mind you. But listen, I'm just not gonna deal with you. Well, we're a package deal. I was like, damn, I really got to think about this now. How do I want to play this?
Well,
right? So then she immediately turns around and she starts leaning towards the garage door, and she just goes off and vomits right there. Right? So I pick up.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I know, I got lucky. So I pick up Michaela, because, you know, she's tall, but she ain't heavy. I pick up Michaela in the lawn furniture. I accidentally forsake my drink, tell her to hold my plate, and I just basically bolt off with her to the side of the house, in between the front and the back. But there's just enough darkness to where you might just walk past us, not know we're here. Right? So I can barely see her. There's faint lights from some neighbor's light that's like 2-3 doors down. And I was like, hey, listen, are you okay? Why are you crying? I wasn't in my phone because you bored me again. Okay. I maybe that came out a little bit too harsh. It's like, didn't they just text you about me, and, you know, are they making fun of me? It's like, no. Shit you not. 5 seconds later, hey, by the way, Michaela is one of those people who automatically spiral into thinking the worst possible thing about you no matter what happens. Just so you know. As long as you don't correctly tell her something, she will instantly come up with the worst possible scenario anytime. And I'm just like, what the fuck are y'all just now saying this shit?
That would have been real good to know earlier.
Yeah, and there's a reason why I said Larry Curly Moe shit going on. Sasha's obviously Moe, and, well, in this scenario, anybody else could be Larry or Curly, maybe Gary. People forget about Gary. I didn't forget about Gary. I still need to see that live action movie that they did not too long ago. No, it was a long time ago. So I'm just like, hey, listen, now no one's around. I'm gonna spit a little bit of game. This is before I got into my not villain arc, but I guess my holy shit spitting game works arc. This is before I go into the, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just tell you the truth. Cause see, I don't like to lie to women. because they will tell other women. Even if you don't know them, or if you lied to someone and you never see them again, someone who remembers that will tell some new girl some shit. Okay? Like, I'm not pretending that I don't know how the game works, no pun intended. But this is not, hey, listen, this is what I'm about. This is what I'm interested in. If you got something different, I don't mind trying to conform to it as long as we honest. This is the, girl, you so blah, 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 blah. Now, I don't remember what all I said, but I basically said, listen, I know you probably going to be taller than me for the rest of our lives, but I don't care if I get to put a ring on your finger. Like,
oh shit.
yeah, and this is like 19-year-old me, and she is 18 with a couple wrinkles, so, people will assume she's older or she's 21 like Mark is. I cannot remember. All I know is everyone here is pretty much barely out of high school, or they're at the end of high school. Kelly got out a year early, and his birthday was basically the start of the party, so he's 18 on the dot. So she starts giggling and shit, and she says, you ain't even got a car yet. I was like, and my feelings don't matter because I don't have a car? I was like, well, I don't know nothing about you. Like, and I'm here to answer those questions. You talk to me about things we both like, but you have not asked me about me. I'm not hiding anything from you. And she said, and this is early before anyone understood how fucked up that could be or how insecure that looks, but also we're teenagers, essentially. She said, well, let me see your social media. I think she said, let me see your MySpace. I was like, okay. Even back then, I never put a lot of stock into MySpace. I promise you, at no point in time did I have like more than, I think, 10 people that were on my friends list in MySpace, right? I honestly felt like MySpace was going to get replaced by something that's better without even putting in that much effort into it. I was right. But I let her do it. And you already know where I fucked up in this story, don't you?
I'm beginning to see.
Yup. She went straight ass into my text messages. And I was, now 3-4 minutes have passed. I was like, hey, how much longer do you need? I was like, aren't you done with like my MySpace? It's really only 2 pages. Huh? Oh, I never went to MySpace. I went through your text messages. So I immediately stand up, right? And then she stands up. And then she lifts my phone up real high, like she trying to stop people from touching a basketball, right?
Oof.
I was like, I just look and go, well, there's nothing I can do in the situation. Like, look, okay, I tried, all right? I accept my defeat, okay? I'm not about to, turn petty. Can you please give me my phone back? So she takes my phone. She leans forward. Mind you, she's standing in front of me. Leans forward, puts my phone in my back pocket, and then grabs a chunk of my ass with the other side and starts giving me a hickey.
Damn.
I was like, that's what I said. Like, I don't understand what's going on right now. And then she said, I mean, your phone makes me think you're kind of sweet. I don't know what the fuck that means, or what was in my, yes, tall woman supremacy. I don't know what the fuck was in my phone to make her say that, or what the fuck that shit means. So I don't question it though, cause
Oh dear.
tall girl accomplishment. Now, as with anybody who is, me, my first response is, yay, boner, yay. Wait a minute, how far is this gonna go? Shit, do I have condoms? Does she want to be just boyfriend and girlfriends? Is this an established, let's fill each other's needs situation? What are we doing here? Blah, 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 blah. So, 2-3 minutes into making out, I was like, hey, for the record, there's no wrong answer. A phrase I would learn is very good to say in the beginning of a statement. But how far do you want to take this? I was like, well, let me put my shoes back on and we can like go get something to eat. But no, you are not. I'm not in a place where I'm comfortable with, smashing on the first not date. I was like, I'm okay with that. Cause you tall. Now, she said that, and I just looked at her like, that's not what I meant. And then she starts giggling. So I start texting Mark, Kelly, and Philip. I texted mission accomplished. Also, Kelly, you a real one. Phil, quit being a fuckboy. This is before I knew it would catch on. I'm not saying I invented that phrase, but apparently a lot of people hadn't heard it at this point. It says, what is a fuckboy? Yes, I fuck boy. I'm not a virgin. And then Mark comes in that same text and says, no, it's an insult. And yes, you are a virgin, sweetie. And then Kelly goes, yeah, pillows don't count. And I just start fucking laughing.
Ooh.
Yeah, mind you, I don't know if this is real or not. And then Phil just goes, I did not fuck a pillow. But he doesn't realize he's saying what he's typing out loud. So then me and Michaela just start laughing, right? And then we go to her car, immediately learn very quickly this motherfucker is rich. Bro, whatever BMW sedan was the most expensive in that year and had the most options on it and bells and whistles, she was driving. That shit was less than 12 months old.
God damn.
Yeah. Now, I don't say this. I just say, this you? Yeah. This is a nice car. Right? So, I get in the front seat of the car. I'm not expecting shit to go off in the car. Despite what people think, or rather statistically speaking, at least last time I looked, but I acknowledge it was like 20 years ago, it's much more dangerous to arouse a woman driving than arouse a man who's driving. Right? Much more dangerous. Yeah. Well, she's gonna be late or she's gonna be spliced in. Robin decided to go store shopping. Anyways.
Ah, well.
Yeah, it's a thing. Anyways, so I just decided to say, quite literally, hey, what about Sasha and the other one? The other one, you forgot her name already? It's in your phone. Well, she literally didn't do anything other but stare and wave at me. Right? So, I mean, again, this is after the pump and dump has been confirmed not to be a thing. I basically forgot it because I'm still pissed that was the first thing out of her mouth. There's nothing in writing that says, yeah, I came to pump and dump some tall chicks. It just says I was trying to get with a tall chick. That means two things. Get as in date or get with as in late. But guess what? She didn't even ask me to clarify. It was just straight venom the minute she saw me. So I was like, well, what about them? Oh, well, I mean, I'm gonna come back for them. Then all of a sudden, my window's down and I just hear clap, 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 poof. So Sasha walked up to the car and she's grabbed my whole entire fucking collar of my coat and my shirt and she yanked it forward. And she goes, what are you two doing? I was like, and Michael goes,
damn.
Yeah. Sasha, get off him. Yeah, Sasha, get off him. She didn't like bang my head into the glove compartment, which I don't know why we even call it that. No one ever fucking kept their gloves in there. So, and she's like, where are you going? Where are you about to go? You're going to leave us? It's like, no, we're going to go eat. Calm down. I don't know what it is, but when women add a at the end of something, it just seems more like they're agitated. And it's like, well, why can't we come? because we want to talk to each other more in private, which makes it easier, more comfortable for me because there's not two people hovering over me, especially someone who is fucking crazy. What did you call me? And then Michaela, mind you, she has an accent. She just goes, ah, shit. So she revs the car up and she pulls out and she guns it at least doing 70 for like 5 seconds. Like, what the fuck is wrong? It's like, you called Sasha crazy. Listen, there's a reason she almost got expelled a couple times, okay? Something wrong with her. And I don't feel like dealing with it. We're not even really friends. We share a friend through Jennifer. She's actually a lot nicer, but she had a bad relationship, so she's thinking you're more of the same. I was like, oh, well, see, that I can understand on some level. She still should have fucking said something, but I can understand that on some level, right? So, we go to some local diner whose name I can't remember, but for the purposes of this story, we're going to say it was a Denny's. So, we're in Denny's, and she said, hey, you can get whatever you want. I was like, yeah, I am, because you're obviously rich. I was like, hey, do you think that's bad, though? I was like, what do you mean? Well, I don't think me being rich or my family being rich, I should say, is bad, but, my dad always taught me that, people may try to kill you for, coming from wealth. I was like, where the fuck is your parents from?
God damn.
Because now you're making me think you're like from some collapsed civilization. Or not civilization, some collapsed country that, a bunch of people with wealth escaped out and, your dad's one of them. Like USSR shit. For those who don't remember that, Russia wasn't always Russia. It used to be the USSR. Or either the USSR got taken over by Russia. I can't remember.
Yo.
It's very hazy. Because USSR, if you look at it chronologically, they died when I was like 3, maybe 5. It's very hazy. So I was like, oh, it's not a secret, but can I tell you when we're further along in the relationship? And she starts doing that thing. I don't know what it's called. When girls don't like take your whole hand, they just play with some of the fingers, whatever that is called. She's doing it at the table, right? And
making it very obvious to everyone around you.
Yeah. And it's not a lot of people in here because it's like damn near 9:30, 10. We might be like the last people in this bitch. And all of a sudden, someone throws a fork at the glass because we're in like the front window. Someone from inside throws a fork at the glass. And then the next thing I know, shit you not, this 5'2" lady comes from the back, goes past us. She says, hi, I hope you're enjoying everything. Starts running. And she looks at this dude and she points at him and says, you get out now. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck happened? There's a lot of people that hate your people here. It's like, ain't no Creoles in fucking Peoria, but I know what you mean. I was like, what is Creole? That's what I am. And then she goes, oh, you're not African? I was like, why do you sound sad about that fact? Listen, I am half Creole, half African. I know a vast majority of the ethnicities that make up my parents' genetics, but for all intents and purposes, I consider myself Creole African. But I don't deny what I am. I just know that I'm more than one. My mother is an African Irish Cherokee, and my father is a legitimate old school Creole, like early 19th century Creole. Literally, born in 1924, early 19th century Creole. Yeah. So I was like, oh, well, do you have any like pictures of your family or anything? I was like, yeah. So I show her my dad. I was like, oh, he looks South American. I was like, yeah, that happened a lot back in the day. I was like, he's not this color anymore. I was like, what happened? I was like, well, obstructive pulmonary disorder or disease. I'm not sure if it's disorder or disease. Officer, if you get a chance to look that up for me. One of the things a lot of people don't realize, at least when it comes to light-skinned people, is that there's apparently a rare occurrence. It can make you change colors, but also you might already be changing colors just because, contrary to popular belief, light-skinned people skin tones are not set in stone sometimes. Sometimes they can get darker or lighter the older they get. People just mistake it for a tan, but once they leave and the tan stays, oh, there you go. So then she had trouble saying it, so I just explained to her how OPD worked. It's like, so then she said and thought about it, and she started tearing up a little bit. Like, so your dad's slowly choking to death? I was like, yes.
Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Okay.
My mother had that.
Yeah, oh, shit. That I did not know. So you know as well as I do, that shit's not fun. But, you know, he was in the early stages of it, so for the time being, he was pretty mobile. And he could speak. No oxygen tank, nothing. So, fucking... I guess me and her kind of bond, because she let me know that she had to watch her grandma die. And she didn't know she was being cuddled by a corpse. And I felt for her.
Oh.
So she was watching cartoons. Her grandmother was telling her about how her mother didn't have access to a TV all the time and what it was like in the old country. And they start watching some cartoons. She sit on her grandma's lap and she eventually falls asleep. And so did her grandma. But her grandma didn't wake up. So the next thing she wakes up and remembers is a bunch of EMT and ambulance people and her mom and her dad separating her from her grandma and asking a bunch of questions. Why are they putting her on a stretcher and all this? And he just like bolts off to put her in a room and say, hey, listen, you know, sometimes people go to sleep for a long time and they don't wake up. Basically, she learned about death because she got cuddled by a corpse.
Fuck.
Yeah. Like I said, you know, this ain't the season of, you know, ha ha ha, everything's funny. Some of this stuff, I'm a wholesome man. Some of it'll have funny moments, but it's meant to have a different tone to it. That being said, you know, don't get me wrong. There are going to be some funny moments throughout just this entire season of Life Stories. And hopefully I can get more people to guest star and give their stories. So eventually, you know, this girl and me, after she was like, hey, you know, let me take you home. Well, let me get you home. I was like, I don't live in Peoria. It was like, you're from one of the bigger cities. I know. You're probably from Evanston. I started laughing immediately. I was like, no, I'm from Chicago, honey. And she goes, Chicago? Chicago? Ooh, can we go to a gang hangout?
Oh my fucking God.
That goes to show you how white she is. But yeah, that happened. She Gen 1 white. So their first thoughts, they're just going to say them. I did meet her mom eventually. Just this isn't part of the story, but later on. Shit you not, first thing she did, she shook my hand and she said, oh, I love Eddie Murphy. Not sure how that's relevant. Yeah, but that's just a thing foreigners say. When they meet a black person, they will call off a celebrity that they like. Or ask you, do you like this celebrity, because they like them too. Is it racist? No, it's an attempted bonding and being polite by showing they have an interest in someone in your culture or someone in your ethnicity or something that people who are similar to you do. Creole is not a word that has left the lips of North America. So, you know, I'm used to explaining what I am. Make no mistake. The African part, yeah, people recognize that. People see that immediately. It's a no-brainer at that point. But it's when they see, oh, you Creole too, they're like, what's that? And of course, there's always some asshole who'll say, like the sauce. I don't know how many times I've even brought that up in these stories, but at least once a season. Yeah, there's a Creole sauce. But you know, maybe I'll say it once a season, but there throughout my life, even up to this day, the last time, maybe 8 months ago, if someone hears I'm Creole, they'll say, oh, like the sauce. And I'm just like, why the fuck do do you think that that's not disrespectful and stupid? Do you go to an Italian person and say, oh, like the seasoning? Anyways, so I was like, no, I think Sasha's probably calmed down. Now, we have not checked our phones outside of, when I showed her a picture of my dad, right? And so she goes, yeah, let me check my phone.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, let me talk to some people, too. You can tell them you got the tall girl. I don't mind. I was like, thank you, but that's not what I meant. I want them to know that, you might be taking me home and I'm figuring out the situation, keeping them up to date, right? So we look at our phones and then Michael is like, are you serious? I was like, and I just go, oh, that sounded very American. What's wrong? So then he's like, we gotta go. Opens her purse, throws down $200. We didn't eat more than like $50 in food, by the way.
Damn.
And she's like, come on, we gotta go. So she picks me up and we just start, boosting through. And
You're supposed to get through.
Yeah, and we just she just starts speeding. This white girl is so fucking good. Maybe she's a white girl. She tans really well. She was so good at driving at high speeds. I should have been scared, but there wasn't that many other cars on the road. But she was doing at least 60 to 70, right? And I'm like, hey, and I'm still in that googly ass face. Hey, baby, you think you might want to slow down? No, people might get shot. I was like,
oh, fuck.
hey, let's slow down a second and not get shot, though. What do you know that I don't know? I was like, what messages did you see? I was texting Mark and Phil. She cuts me off. No, go look at the giant group chat thing. And I was like, okay. Now go and look at this. And I look at it. Holy shit. Remember when I told you there was a bunch of people?
Dear.
Remember when I told you there was a bunch of people looking in at this party earlier? Well, Sasha, because no one wanted to talk to her, pay her attention, kept getting angrier and angrier until eventually even Jennifer somewhat ditched her, right? Not really ran away. Jennifer just went to the front of the house, and if Sasha came to the front, she went to the back. That type of situation, right? So fucking she goes and oh my god, how to describe this? So Sasha just got pissed. She hopped over the property line fence because she's tall, and she just goes over to that dude. Hey you, come here, because Kelly is unusually descriptive. Okay, mind you, I don't find a lot of this stuff out till like a day and a half later, but for the purposes of this story, I'm putting things in chronological order, which is why I had those notes from earlier. She went over there and said, why the fuck do y'all keep looking at me? They weren't looking at us, they was looking at the party. Said, well, I mean, apparently dude said we just wanted to come and we just wanted to see what it was about. And then she says, well, y'all too old to go to the party. And he's like, how old is everybody over there? And then she does it. She digs a hole even further. We basically go from 18 to like 22, maybe 21. Oh, hey, where are your parents right now? I'm an adult. No, I mean the people who own that house, right? So now these 6-7 dudes invited themselves to a party where they are obviously, they're not too old to be there, but their behavior isn't wanted because they were basically all fucking Trumps, right? So then Kelly is like calling me up half crying. Is like, they're ruining my party, man. I don't have enough ammo for everybody. It's like, whoa, Kelly. I don't think you need to kill people. Yeah. It's Peoria. If you got a gun in Peoria, no one's gonna kill.
True.
Also, to be fair, he had legal ownership. Well, he had legal ownership as legal as you can be for being a newly christened 18-year-old. So I don't really think he had legal ownership, but he has the same name as his dad, a junior senior situation. So he might be able to bullshit if police show up. Also, he's white, so I have the strangest feeling he won't be getting in that much trouble. As stereotypical as that sounds, or lazy as that sounds. So I'm just like, whoa, everyone's talking about, man, we need to fuck these guys up. Hey, Zach, when you get here, it's code blue, bro. I was like, Philip, I swear to God, if you don't stop trying to act like that's a fucking thing. Because I've heard code blue come out of Philip's mouth like 6 times in a month. He's decided that when his brother made up a term where we need to get everybody, kick as much ass as possible while running towards the exit. Because one time we went at a party that was really fucked up. We didn't want to be there. And they were basically trying to keep like 6 or 7 people there. But there was only 6 or 7 of them. So basically 1 per person. So long story short, we got together. We told everybody, when you get a text message that says code blue, start running towards the fucking front exit. Because me and Mike basically made fires in the kitchen and the toilet. Well, not toilet, the bathroom.
Damn.
And the bathroom. And when they would get close, we would bum rush them and just said, hey, go out the front door. Eventually, you know, this place, I don't remember where it was, but they got caught because it was basically, it was some kind of attempted human trafficking, but they were fucking laughably bad at it.
Fuck.
Yeah. So, you know, and I mean, human trafficking, I thought they usually go for children, but apparently I was wrong. So, fucking, the way I see it, Phil just decided he wants to be in a code blue situation because he thinks that shit's cool. I was like, no, bro, if that had gone wrong, even for a split second, it could have been a hostage situation, or none of us could have got out, and me and fucking Mark would have ended up dead. Right? So I was like, so that's why I'm pissed about it. Because anytime me and Mark get into a light scruff or annoyance by anybody at random just bugging us or doing some stupid shit on the street, it feels as if, oh shit, is it time for code blue? Like, you not cool, man.
Come on,
You're
man.
not fucking cool. It's like that nerd who thinks he's the shit because he got the fancy lightsaber instead of the regular lightsaber. It's like, shut the fuck up trying to brag about a lightsaber. Huh. That might be a story idea because I still fucking hate that guy. That was an interesting day. Anyways,
Well done.
yeah. So here's what we do. We decide, okay, before you get here, here's what I need you to try to do. So I turn to Michaela. I say, hey, Michaela, do you have anything that you can easily weaponize in this car or start a fire with? Yes, it's sounding like a code blue, but it's not. It's like, I mean, well, the taser's for me. There's an old crowbar in the back, and I think there's a hand vac
Crowbar, hell yeah.
a hand vac or a hand knife in one of the backs. He's like, okay, slow down, pull over, let me go look at this stuff. What are you gonna do? And I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity to say some shit that I don't really mean. Yes, I know it's fucked up, but I don't do this now. Now when I say this type of thing, I mean it. Hey, listen, I'm gonna make sure you get home as safely as possible by any means necessary. I said that to win whatever counts as a brownie points, because I still have no idea how brownie points work. Supposedly you get brownie points for basic compliments, but I've seen that backfire too. So I don't pretend I know how brownie points work anymore. And I told her, and she goes, oh, and then she really kisses me. Right?
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh man, she's letting me fill up a skirt. Yes, thank you. But not gonna get too much into eroticism. We're not that type of channel. So we get there, and when I say all shit broke loose, the grill was tilted over, certain parts was catching fire. I see Mark coming with the water hose, and I can hear him from the front because we're coming from the side that has little light, and we're walking slowly. And I told her, hey, make sure the engine's running. If shit pop off, just go warm up the car. And I just hear Mark go, stop fucking saying code blue, for I beat your ass and shove this grill up your ass too. And I was like, classic Philip, just don't want to not look like the annoying little brother. Again, I like this dude, I respect him, but he's still in his hyper phase, right? He hasn't calmed down yet as an adult or an elderly teenager, if that's even a thing. So I go, Mark, He's looking dead at me. Don't know he's looking. He starts looking around. Dead in front of you. So then, now this is kind of funny. Michaela pulls out her phone, turns it on just enough so the screen lights up, and she points it down at me. And then she's like, "Oh, he goes, oh, that's a pretty cool effect." And then I just see some skinny dude, boom, slug his ass. I'm like, oh, fuck no. So I run up there with the crowbar. I'm running at this dude, and he just looks at me like he can barely see me. I've come out into the light, and he just goes, "Is that a nigger?" Like it's a legitimate question.
Oh.
I was like, and I just say, "Thank you." It just made it easier to want to hit this man. Now, Mark is a tan Mexican, but you know his dad is 100% Dutch, so he looks Caucasian, but he got that exotic tint going on to him. You know, he's actually at white people ask him, "Hey, where do you go to get your tan?" I like it. It's like nowhere, or he'll say the sun. Like, cause he's one of the first people to explain to me that there are people who have an obsession with a tan version of themselves. I don't know why this is a thing for Caucasians, but specifically in North America and apparently also parts of Belgium, there is a tan obsession, or there's a fetish for tan Caucasians, which I find kind of ironic, but you know, we'll talk about that when the camera's not rolling. So, I'm just sitting up here like, cool, I'm okay with this. So then Mark, I'm jumping up, I'm getting ready to slug this dude with the crowbar. I've never seen him get this mad ever again. He stops me in air. He literally puts his hand up against my chest, and I fall, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? He grabs a crowbar from me, and in one smooth motion, cocks this dude. And here's the best part. He saw him trying to run. So he grabbed him by the, not suspenders, shoulder buckle. Because this dude's in overalls. Grabs him by both of them. Boom! Cracks this dude 3 times. I'm like, whoa, Mike, stop. I'm thinking it's a little bit too overboard. And he's like, yeah, maybe. And I laughed a little bit, and I shouldn't be laughing. I was like, where's Phil and those other girls? First off, fuck Sasha. I was like, yeah, but why fuck Sasha? I'll tell you later. Get to one of the cars. I'm gonna go to trying to find Phil, right? So Phil, I don't even know when the fuck this happened. Phil went and got in the fire extinguisher. He put out the fire that was started from the grill being tilted over, right? And then the next thing you know is I hear somebody from like the house next door. They come on their back porch and go, "Okay, no, I'm calling the police. Is that a nigger?" And I'm just like,
fucking God.
And this is the first time I heard this in my life. No, not the word nigger. It was a bunch of people around just go, wow. I was like, that's not his name, F word. Yeah, you dirty old motherfucker. Man, you can just look at them tits and know that a broad never had a chance. And I shit you not, I went from being angry to laughing with so many other people. Michaela couldn't stand up straight and she tripped, so I actually had to help her get up. Bro, like that, I don't know what girl that was who said it, because you know, everything's dark. And she just goes, well, like, you just know your broad gave up a long time ago. I was fucking dead. And then here's the weird part. This idiot throws her cordless phone. Right? And I see that she's dialed 911. So me and Mark look at each other, right? And we're just like, hey, you see that movie? You remember that old, you know that new movie or old movie? I don't know how long it's been. Hey, you remember that movie we watched, The Office? Bro, we're about to have an office moment. Or so I thought. Shit you not. Michaela, Sasha are stomping out the phone. I'm not mad that they're doing it. I'm mad that I didn't get to do it. You know? So it was like, so they're like, man, I want to do it. Like, and Mark goes, Zach, shut the fuck up. Let's go. So I go to Kelly's like, hey, bro, I had the best fucking time ever. I'm gonna do a quick run through your house to see if anything is missing or broke. I go through, cause like we got 15 minutes, cause the sheriff takes like half an hour to do anything this time of night. I was like, wait, y'all know exactly how long the cops take to get places? Like, doesn't everybody? No, black people do not have access to this information. I thought you were Creole. I'm half black, okay? Gotta remember, Creel is a new concept for everyone here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I go sweep run through. I was like, I don't think anyone went in the basement. Well, they should not lock the basement. We go through, and I go and I see there's Philip making out with, to this day, possibly one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. She was built like a stereotypical porn star, but her waist was smaller. Shit, my mom is calling me. Oh, she going to text me. And I was like, hey, go get in your fucking brother's car. We gotta go, right? Now, I tell him like, hey, I've done the best I can. I'm not about to pick up no hot ass charcoals that are laying in the grass, but hey, look, they got put out. You put some water over this and maybe move it around with a shovel in the morning or something. Parents might not be able to find out. Remember, pictures on cell phone is a new concept. So I'm just like, okay, we got to get out. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is near the end of the story. How does this take place over the course of 2 years, or how does this hold an L? And I was like, okay, well, and we're going to get into that right now. So I go to Michaela, right? I get in her car. I tell her where I live. And I was like, oh my God, that was crazy. I doze off to sleep, right? So she starts walking me to the mouse like, oh, thank you so much. I'm putting my key up. I don't feel it go in. I am fucking groggy. It was a long ass drive, right? I'm not drunk, mind you. And this is before I learned I'm
tired.
I may or may not be capable of even being drunk. This is like years before that happens. So I go in and I just don't realize I have been walked up to this girl's room. And yeah, I've been walked up to this girl's room, and essentially I went to sleep in her bed. No, we did not have sex, but I went to sleep in her bed, and I think she tried to make out with me while I was unconscious. I know that's not illegal or like offensive, but it is weird. Like, what did you just suck my tongue out of my face? Did you just suck my tongue out of my face, or bite the tip of it and then pull it into yours? Like, what is the logistics on unconscious kissing?
What is indeed?
Don't get me wrong. I would kiss her any day of the week, but it's just weird when I'm unconscious. So I don't know how to feel about that. But so I go to sleep. I wake up maybe 3 hours later. You know, the sun isn't even fully out. And I just stand up because my brain just registers, you're in trouble. And I'm like, the fuck? And then immediately 5 seconds later, on like a delay, everything below the navel just goes limp and full of pain. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I see this 6'5" dude standing up above me. I was like, what did you do? Like, and then Micaiah wakes up and she starts talking some other language, and this dude's yelling at her in some other language. I'm just like, oh, Micaiah, I'll save you. Like, I am in pain, and it's coming from my ball sack. This grown ass, this big dude, full force, with my pants on, mind you, punched me dead ass in the ball sack. To this day, I have never fucking been hit in my ball sack in that way, shape, or form ever again. I cannot stand up straight. She's yelling at him. She's crying. Her face is turning red. She's angry. I'm like, she's turning into Sasha a little bit. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't register that this is what it feels like, because I've never been hit in the nuts to that extent, or when it wasn't like a shin bone. You know, the classics. And I'm just like, ugh. I can't make words. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And then all of a sudden, this dude throws my shoes at me, and I'm like, I don't know what happened, but I don't know. I guess ultra instinct or some other cliche Japanese stereotypical bullshit that I can't properly describe happened, but a different me woke up, right? And I'm still in pain. I stand up. I put my shoes on. I tie them, and then I immediately grab this dude's entire joint where his kneecap is. Because when you want to take a big dude down, you can't do it with regular old force. You have to pull angularly one of their feet up, because whatever little movement forward you have from your mass is gonna make them fall down, right? And I think I'm taking this dude's eyeball out. I don't have the crowbar anymore, none of this shit. And I start beating this dude with an alarm clock, right? Just enough so I can like go, hey, it's okay now. I got him. And then I stand up, and then I immediately go back to my knees. And then this lady comes in, and I'm just like, okay, I'm really drunk. You turned into a supermodel. And then this lady just starts giggling. I was like, how are you in two places? Again, I'm not conscious still. I'm barely awake. And I got ball sack pain. And yeah, and I'm just like, I'm thinking Makai, my brain is fucked up. He must have hit me in the face too, right? Why are there two Makayas? And why does one look like a supermodel? And then she just turns to me and goes, that's my mom. And she goes, oh, thank you so much. And then she starts yelling at him. Don't get me wrong. He's a father. I get it. Here's where he fucked up though. Instead of calling the cops, filing a police report, fucking my life up psychologically, you know, as a new adult, he took the violent approach. So don't get me wrong. Micaiah was in a little bit of trouble, but because this dude physically assaulted me to the extent that he did, he was in a lot more trouble, right? So I don't know what's going on. And I just start I run past her. I go outside into the hallway and I start going down the stairs. I roll down that bitch like fucking Donkey Kong, man. Bro, I straight up went into a spin dash. I was like, oh, I can't stop myself. You know what? I'm going to turn into a fucking Sonic the Hedgehog Donkey Kong ball, right?
Sonic.
And then when I felt like ground, I uncurled myself. And then the next thing I know, EMTs is waking my asses up. Well, they didn't wake my ass up, but like apparently I woke up right before they was putting me on a stretcher. And I was like, hey, your balls have been through a lot today, man. Are you okay? Ooh. And I looked down and was like, he punched me in the balls. Now, this dude is still yelling in different languages, right? And there are police there. And I'm just like, okay, so I am an adult. However, my parents might get involved. So I say, hey, you know what, but guy, I'm fine. I'm really fine. So, it was weird. So I answer text messages. Philip comes and get me. Apparently he had a car too, but him and Mike just came in one car. You know, I guess it was the security and there'll be a designated driver just in case. So I tell them everything that happened. They tell me the parts that I filled in for you just now, with Sasha. You know, Kelly didn't actually get in that much trouble because nothing in the house was broken. Yay. And his parents actually dismissed his neighbor because he said it was just a barbecue birthday party. There wasn't any booze here. There was booze everywhere. I was like, okay, well, where are the cups at? Where are the glasses at? The beauty of bring your own beer. You can hide the trash a lot easier. Apparently, all he did, this is pretty cool. He just went down 3 blocks and he put his bag of trash in between 2 other bags of trash. I mean, in between 2 trash containers for pickup. That's all he did.
I applaud him in that ingenuity.
Yeah. So I'm like, whoa. I don't want to get an ambulance bill because even I know the legendary ambulance, and this is before we have the free healthcare option in Illinois. So I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not going to have you drive me. Look, shit's going down here. Your father obviously doesn't want me around you, but I'm gonna call a cab because, you know, back in the day you could do that. So 30 minutes and a nice pack later, and the EMT gave me something, and the cop gave me a copy of the report. You know, his mom her mom just sits on the porch, staring at me and smiling and waving, and I talk with Micaiah, and she's like, "Do you hate me?" I was like, "No. Listen, I don't hate you. This isn't your fault." Well, I said I was gonna take you home, but I wanted to be with somebody. I was like, I want to be with you. And then I made some stupid joke to cheer her up. I'm like, bitch, I'm the one who gets hitting the balls. You should be cheering my ass up. But, you know, I feel like getting a boner when you got punched in the balls really hard is a bad idea.
Very.
Oh. Interesting. We're going to put a pin in how you know that. So I go in and I'm just like, hey, listen, everything's fine. You know, she helps me get up to the car. I get in. And, you know, I tell the taxi driver this whole story. It's like, hey, listen, all things considered, this might be one of those stories you end up, you know, telling for the rest of your life. I was like, it sounds like I know you're in pain, but listen, it could have gone a lot worse. I was like, yeah, you're right. Also, fuck, I didn't know they had rich foreigners in Peoria. I was like, I think they might be the only ones. And we both start laughing. Now, I get a call from her like 3 or 4 days later because first off, everyone's texting me what happened. And apparently Micaiah wasn't telling anybody. I was like, I'll tell them what happened. And then Micaiah hits me up on the 4th day. This is what she says. Hey, listen, I really had fun. You know, I've never had an experience like that. When you're tall and all the jocks or guys who like sports are assholes and they're just pigs, it's hard to find or get any guy to like look at you. I kind of understood what she meant, but I'm sorry, we can't go further. And I immediately knew what she meant by that. But at the same time, she said, hey, listen, can you please delete the pictures that my mother took when she crawled in bed with us? What?
What the fuck?
So, I don't know. Well, you know, old phones didn't necessarily have a lock screen, or lock screens were optional back in the day on some level. Apparently, well, let's just say Micaiah's interest in Nutella-ish chocolate tinted people was inherited. I'm not saying her mom did something to me, but based on the pictures, she at least thought about it.
Well then.
And I asked her, hey, listen, I've seen the pictures. I'm going to delete them. What did your mom get in that bed for? And she never responded back. And I did not see her again for 2 years.
Oh.
And you think holding that weird L is worse. Shit you not, this is what happened. I'm in Union Station, right? Now, people know that there's multiple entrances and ways to get to Union Station. I take the quiet route. I go in through the fucking parking lot that's like 4 or 5 blocks away and people don't realize it's right there. And it puts you right to the back where the tracks are. So I'm going through there and I don't know those trains, but I know the food court, right? And I like the Union Station food court underground because it's almost never a line longer than 5 people. As big as the city is, no matter what time of day, it's almost never a line longer than 5 people. Because so many few people give a fuck about underground Union Station cafeteria mess hall type food. Oh shit, what the fuck? Hello? Oh, that was fucking weird. Bro, my whole screen went black and then rebooted.
That's some weird shit.
Yeah, I guess my computer want me to hold a L2. But so I see her getting on, I believe it was track 5 or track 6. And I'm going upper escalator. I'm going up an escalator and she's walking down the stairs. And she grabs my hand and I immediately recognize her. Right? And then I get the worst L of all. I fucking rotate, jump over. We go sit in those wooden bleachers next to the track, the train schedule billboard. And I'm like, hey, let's sit and talk. Like, no, I can't. Okay, fine, I'm walk and talk. I'm almost about to be late for my train. Okay, listen, I'll go on you with the train. So I'm like, Micaiah, what happened with your mom? And are you mad at me? Like, I didn't do anything to your mom. I know that much. I'm unconscious in all those pictures. So you did delete them? Yes, thank you. And then she explained to me her mom kind of sort of has a darkness fetish. The main reason they were even in
Oh,
the main reason they were in Peoria is because her dad is so insecure. She doesn't even like when she has a basic conversation or just looks at them or waves at, you know, a chocolate person. Doesn't matter if they're of age or not. Like, to this day though,
oh God.
technically on paper she hasn't cheated, and you know, Micaiah is older brother is completely entirely Caucasian, and unless she's having abortions by the week, it's kind of hard to prove if his mom is cheating. He may just be insecure, but also she doesn't deny the fetish, right? So I said, listen, can we like just talk or be friends or something? And I shit you not. So the train conductor looks on and says, hey, if you're getting on, you're getting on. You know, none of that all aboard shit like old ass movies. So I was like, so I look at him, she makes me look at her, kisses me, says something in a language I still don't know what is to this day, starts crying, and then gets on the train. And then she says, and then I'm just out here like looking like, I don't know, Boo Boo the Fool, because I get like maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes before I just say fuck it. I go back down to the bleachers and I fucking just sit in a little wooden ass corner where those bleachers are when no one's paying attention, and I just fucking cry. The end. So yeah,
Well,
I held an L, and it wasn't for love. Love gave me the L, if anything.
well, shit.
Damn, did I accidentally say Micaiah? I feel like I said Micaiah somewhere. Yeah, her name is Michaela.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how to spell it though, because I never got to see it spelled correctly. Even when I talked to Mark and Phil about this and Kelly, none of them could agree on the spelling of her name. None of them could pronounce. They could pronounce her last name, but they didn't know the spelling of it. Bro, it wasn't a first love. Maybe it counts as puppy love, but it's the way it ended that bothers me.
Honestly, I don't blame you.
Well, at least I can bag tall women. So yeah, how do you know? And there's that weird heart pain shit. Maybe it was just telling this story. All right. So how the fuck do you know what happens or how it feels when you get a boner after getting kicked in the nuts? What the fuck happened there?
Accidentally got kicked in the nuts by a dude when I was kind of chatting up a chick. We did, later on in the evening, we did have a bit of fun, but at the time, I already had the boner, but then got kicked in the nuts while ooh. Let's just say it killed it right away.
It doesn't cause like any weird after effects or anything?
Nah, no weird after effects.
I don't know what it is about Peoria, man, but I've never had anything good happen to me in Peoria.
Honestly, I can't say I'm surprised after hearing that story.
All right.
Ooh, man.
Well, that's pretty much the end of it. I guess DJ Cereal Milk Sauce Guy still at work, so he can't say anything right now. But yeah, officer, questions, comments, concerns?
None really, other than goddamn, that was some crazy shit.
Yeah. I think the worst part is that I don't have pictures of her, not because, oh, she's so pretty, but because based on the, it's kind of weird. I don't think any of my convention friends know that they've met some of my ex-girlfriends, but none of them have met my ex-girlfriends who were like not sci-fi or, occasional Japanese cartoon festival type shit, conventions. None of them.
Yeah.
But apparently there was an urban legend that I'm afraid to or I've never dated a tall woman. I'm like, no, it's neither are true. But since I don't have any pictures of her, you know how everyone is. Pics or it didn't happen. I fucking hate that the internet made that thing reality. Cause first off, shit happened before we had pictures. So you telling me
Yep.
everything in a history book didn't happen? I mean, you go down south, they'll try to lie about all that shit. But no, and
Yeah.
there's nothing I can do. Well, I appreciate you listening to my holding an L in this sad story. And for any assholes who might come up in my text messages, because I already told you, whenever I do something big, I don't get comments on the video. I get comments in my phone, like actual homies asking me questions and shit. I'm gonna tell you right now, my family's been mixed raced over 200 years. Being Creole in and of itself is inherently a mixed ethnicity, mixed
Yep.
race, whichever term you prefer. Technically race isn't real, but it became real because we got too many laws that govern this shit, whether they should or shouldn't exist. And also ethnicity is basically what most people think they mean when they say race. It's kind of like gender and sex. There's a lot of overlap because of what people do know versus what is popular. But my family's been mixed race on both sides over 200 fucking years. So if someone has an issue with me dating what may have been a Caucasian woman, or maybe even like the Sicilian or Northern Italian situation, or maybe the Italian Peninsula where they're Caucasian adjacent but they tan, pretty easily, blah blah blah, Nick Diablo type shit. Hey, Cyril, if you can chime in, because the story's at the end. So I don't have a problem with dating someone, because first off, last I checked, you're supposed to be dating based on if someone loves you, likes you, respects you, and maybe you have mutual agreement or judgment in certain situations in society. Last I checked. Unless, you're psychopaths and dysfunctional and shit. Last I checked. Opposites can attract. Opposites can fucking get married. They can grow things they have in common. You don't just keep the same shit in common that you did when you were 20 when you're 50.
I mean, much as I'd like to say, we're past the era of interracial marriages being some big taboo thing. Honestly, I question if we're actually past that these
You
days.
don't question. You know damn well we're not. Depending on the state or the city in the state, there will be people who have to hide their
Yeah.
disgust because they know that they'll be labeled what they really are, a fucking disgusting ass racist. And then there are people who've never experienced it and have no idea what the concept is even like. So I'm gonna tell you right now, all the cousins I grew up with, like around me, that actually around my age group, 10 years or less, all of them, they're either mixed race or they're marrying somebody of a different ethnicity. My fucking oldest Gen 1 cousins, that's Artemis, who is Daywalker in the group, and Alphonse the Grey. Both of them. Alphonse married an Italian woman, and Artemis, well, his wife was a redhead whose nickname was Wendy growing up, because that's how much she looked like the Wendy's girl. And his current wife is Caucasian. She just dyes her hair red. The boy got a strong redhead fetish, but he honestly, it's just that he date people that love him for him, and I ain't mad at him. He married her too. Alphonse, same situation. I'm never gonna be at a point where I respect Arnita, but I respect her relationship. She's getting ready to marry a Mexican or a Puerto Rican guy, if memory serves, and her brother Aramis, whom I will I can't say that on here, but let's just say I hope I'm not around when he dies, because I know I'm gonna be suspect number one based on things I've said about him in the past. He married 2 years ago or a year ago. He married a Latin woman, if memory serves, who also likes dyeing her hair red. Notice the patterns. Same as his brother, Artemis. And despite me being a city kid, as far as like damn near 99.999% African descent chicks, I've only dated 3. Not because, none of them met some ridiculously high standard or some other shit. No, because there were only 3 that I wanted to date, And also didn't do that thing where they annoy me to get my attention and expect me to give them affection for it. I fucking hate when any woman does that. Even if it works on me, I will tell them, hey, listen, don't do that while we're together. Because I fucking hate that. Will they get your attention? Okay, well, you got it now. Just stop doing it. I will give you more attention if you stop doing it. You know, I've been dating based on people that like me, and I don't make an excuse for it at all, ever. I know dudes who've been in comfortable and good relationships with women who are not of African descent, but when I ask them about their girlfriend, they get defensive like, well, I mean, you know, black women are just so hard to please. I mean, you know, I don't have a problem with black. I'm like, bro, what the? Calm your ass down.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like,
the
you sound like one of
starting. It sounds.
Yeah, like you sound like one of those white boys who thinks that they did or said something racist and they're trying to backtrack even though no one said they did. That's adorable sometimes. But no, I'm like, bro, like, why the fuck you going out this way? I was like, you know, bro, it's all good. I don't care what your mommy and your daddy say. I don't care what some random motherfucker who we're never gonna see again on the train thinks or walking down the street thinks. Do you love her? And she loves you, and vice versa, and you not cheating on each other? I'm like, well, I don't give two fucks. I'm actually more annoyed by light-skinned dudes trying to get hype and get aggressive, hyper aggressive, when they're reminded that they're not 100% African. I'm like, why are you mad at something that is obvious? Also, why are you trying to take this aggression out on me? I'm not mad that you're not full African. Why are you fucking mad? No one's holding it against you. You know? If a light-skinned dude, if a light-skinned half or quarter African person marries someone who's Caucasian, their kid's probably going to be Caucasian, like might even have blonde hair. I got 6 friends in a similar situation. They don't know how to navigate shit yet, but not in a bad way. They just know their child will probably have advantages that they don't, or people come up to him and make him think he's adopted, and that's where they draw the line. And they made me swear up and down, Telford excluded, but his child's young. They made me swear up and down, listen, if you ever come across somebody who tells my child they are adopted, or they're an orphan, or makes them think that, I want you to promise me, Zax, that you will correct that. I'm not telling you to put your hands on someone's child, but I don't want my child thinking that they are not mine because of how other people perceive them. And I was like, that's smart. Beautiful. And I guarantee you I would have did that even if you didn't fucking ask me. Because I'm going to have a lot more cousins like that in the future. So, you know, again, love is love, all that jazz. As long as you ain't a pedo, I ain't got shit to say about love. Oh, and as long as you're not Bill Cosby type either. So,
yep.
Yeah, DJ, any questions?
No, I don't think I have any questions. I was just supremely flabbergasted and trying to hold in my shock and my awe while I was at work hearing all the shit that you were talking about. Because I was like, this is intense. There's so much going on here.
Yeah.
But no.
And if you go to a trip to Indiana, Life Stories, because Life Stories are in their own playlist. If you go there, you will actually get another story with Mark and Phillip, whose name I again changed in that story. And there was another guy who was hyperactive about someone fucking up a car that wasn't even his. It was weird. I basically lived Streets of Rage, if you're familiar with that game.
Yeah.
I lived that one day. They were there with me.
Yeah, that sounds tough.
Yeah. Like, their parents ended up getting, like, stupidly rich. And there was some tax break incentive, because of course there is. So they relocated the whole family to Indiana years later. Or it was years later and I got my age wrong. Or these two events happened in the same year, but one was in the beginning and one was in the end. That's the problem when you've got more than a 10-year gap. And people responding, well, no, they don't respond in a timely manner. So I don't know who all is going to see this, but I'm hoping that when I give this video to the people that were actually there, because I'm still friends with some people that were there just by, you know, them recognizing me later on in years. I want them to hopefully go in and, you know, fill in some blanks, and I might add some bits later in the editor's notes and shit. But yeah, fuck, I miss.
Fair enough.
I think Micaiah, without being technically my girlfriend, was one of the most beautiful women I've done technically nothing with. Like, I thought I called her mom a supermodel, not knowing it.
Yeah, that's
That was pretty funny.
I was like, why is there two of you and one of you's a supermodel? Like, I don't know what my exact words were, but it was something along those lines. So, yeah, with that being said, that brings the video to an end. I will put in the editor's note, like with any podcast, it might be a good idea to speed up the video to 1.25 times because, you know, these could be long for some people. However, if you're in a road trip, you know, you might want to keep it at that traditional speed. But yeah, 1.25 is pretty nice. I hope you guys enjoy the Trigun video that's long overdue, that is currently up on the channel. And I will see you guys when I see you guys.
Have a nice night, peeps. Or a nice
there
day.
you go.